Previously, I'm the big bad necromancer. Get wrecked, nerds. Mwahaha. Pew 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 pew. Oof. I'm out of here. Escape.
Huzzah! Master, I got that gem you wanted. Eek! Dink! So ghosts, help me! Hey, I need 3 heroes. Go and get them for me.
Here they are, sir. Here are your heroes.
Okay, listen up. I need you to get the souls out of this idiot before he explodes and kills us all.
And thus their adventure began. This is Deranged and Questing, the Necromancer's idiot apprentice.
What the heck?
I will always laugh at that.
How did you do that?
That is amazing.
I hired Lucas Art Studios for the highest of quality of
It looks a little
animations.
better.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us once again for another episode of Deranged and Questing, the Necromancer's Idiot Apprentice. As usual, I am Grak Skullcrusher, dwarven barbarian, coming at you with my team of badass warriors. Ser Doran, human cleric.
At your service.
Brom Wideberth, high elf ranger, confused.
Rogue.
Rogue, sorry. I
Yes.
think ranger. Anyways,
Extra confused.
and of course, our dungeon master, Mr. Greg.
Breeze it up.
What? What
Starting
was
off
that,
great
Greg?
day.
All my people know.
Yeah. Okay, as you know, we are a live episode, so anytime you've got something insane and ridiculous for us to do, drop it in the comments. We're going to have some fun. Let's go take it away, Dungeon Master.
Okay, so first things first, I'm going to explain that we've had a few changed positions around the table in the first 3 episodes, and we made one more set of changes, and hopefully our last. So Andy, who you all know plays Grak Skullcrusher, he's going to be the same as always, as will Tony, who plays Ser Doran. He's still the same person. I know I DM'd our first game, and then I played Brom for the next 2 episodes. Well, from now on, I'll be taking over the role of the DM. And Allegra, who played one of our test episodes and was amazing, she'll be taking over for the role of Brom. So any weird voice changes, just chalk them up to the normal reaction to the change in climates and allergies, all that type of thing. Just a reminder, we want to hear from you guys who are in our chat group. If you're watching us live, please suggest silly things for the players to do, and they may just take you up on that. Additionally, going forward, I'm going to be implementing a new crit 20 and crit 1 table, which basically means during attack rolls, if a player or NPC rolls a 20, which is usually an automatic success, or a 1, which is usually an automatic failure, additional crazy effects will be happening to them on top of what normally happens. So please leave in the comments section below the video suggestions for both, and I'll put them into our table for next session and see if you could influence the party's adventures as we go on. So what we set off with last time is the group, they left the jail that they escaped from behind them, still hearing signs of battles, but really having no interest in facing another giant. Disappointment shows on the face of Brom as they leave behind what is clearly the rubble of the hot pretzel buffet station, as well as disappointment on Grax's face as he grimaces and realizes that he won't be able to get his hands on an extra kid small size t-shirt saying, "I broke out of jail and all I got was this lousy t-shirt." Ser Doran is looking at his armor thinking, why won't this color coordinate with my tabard?
Why?
So, yeah, things happen. Regardless, they are prepared and provisioned, and they are going to make their way into the snowy wilds, heading north, eventually to the town of Breton, and eventually to the Hill of Stars. The group's kind of dragging along Abelard's body at this point. He's super sick. He caught a cold in the boat ride over, and in the time in the jail cell really didn't help him much. He's got a terrible cold. So now, after they've ditched the jail and they traveled for the whole day with the best of the haste they could manage, they are done for the day's travels, and they are sitting around a campfire that the group has settled into for the night. And you guys are setting up your bedrolls or setting up the single tent, which you're able to take out of the guard's locker. And you guys notice how Abelard, he just kind of tips over. The eyes roll into the back of his head, and a blank stare takes over on his face. After like a few seconds of this, he quickly sits up, and there's a look of confusion that comes over him. And the party knows that once again, a new soul has taken possession of his body.
Here
So
we go
that's where I
again.
will start you guys up.
Whoa, where am I? Men, what are you doing in my chambers? Only one woman. I was with 7, last I remembered. At least I hope there are women.
Well, it's a long story.
Did I just get into the whiskey?
And that's all. And that's all you're getting, laddie.
I feel like I could go for a little more. Whoa, I didn't have a cold. What's going on?
Well, first, tell us what you remember.
Well, it was just my brother's bachelor party. We were having a good time. I may have drank a little bit too much. I chose my 7 women as per usual at my brother's bachelor. It's his 8th bachelor party, actually. Keeps killing the wife.
As one does.
Yes. And I was just about to lay with the 5th one, if I remember correctly. And here I am. And now I feel achy.
Well, something unfortunate happened at the party. You see, a sorcerer was there. And he cast a spell on you.
Oh. Is that what I've...
Trapped you in a puny, weak body.
Oh, no.
As you can see, I know, grievous misunderstanding. You must have slept with his daughter or something.
Or maybe he was
I'm gonna lean over to
Maybe it was him.
I'm gonna lean over to Ser Doran and say, "This one's good. She tells a good yarn."
Yeah, Doran will walk over and hand Bryce a flask of wine and say, "This will help take the edge off. Don't worry about it, kid."
Yes, we've been carting your unconscious body around for days. We're very tired.
Well, just tell me how I can fix this and be back with my 7 women.
We're working on that just as fast as we can.
Great. Let's
Top priority, lad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Well, I'll take your word for it. Just tell me where to point my arrow and you will have it stuck deep into the testicles of any enemy.
I think you sticking your arrow is what got you in trouble in the first place.
Yeah, I would lay off that for a little while.
Agreed.
Also, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's not much in the arrow department of this, curse body.
I was just wondering who hired the gardener. It's completely bare. I'm used to a manly forest that comes out of my britches. But enough about my schlungen. How can I help you all?
Well, right now we were just taking a breather. No, we've been riding for a while, and you seem to have a bit of a sniffle. So maybe drink some of that. What was it, Ser Doran?
It's wine. Only the
Excellent,
best.
Yes.
Well, if you insist, and I snatch the wine and I just chug it.
Just so we know, because we were kind of hired on.
I found that.
Go ahead.
I was going to say I found that drinking a good dwarven whiskey or dwarven ale is very good for the common cold. But unfortunately, I'm all out of that at the moment, so you'll have to make do.
Fair enough. This is awkward.
Just so we know, what skills do you happen to have? Because we've been carting, as I said, your unconscious body all along, and the road is perilous, and I'm sure that you are a mighty warrior, what with your arrow.
Yes, my mighty arrow. What actions do I not have? What powers do I not possess? I am the Prince of Agagon, and with this, I am powerful. I am the 3 times champion of the King's Balls archery tournament. And you don't want to mess with you.
Brom leans over to Grak and says, "Oh no, not more royalty."
Doran will stride over to him again, introduce himself. Yeah, I'm Ser Doran. I'm a cleric of Lathander. So maybe I'll check out that cold in the morning for you if you're not feeling any better. But right now, I got to take off these winkle pickers. They're killing my feet. They look great, but they're not made for hiking in the woods. Doran starts prying off these like very fancy shoes that don't really match his armor at all, but they just look amazing. And just starts to get a little comfortable at the campsite.
Well, it is a pleasure to meet all of you. I don't see any of you as a threat, like there's any threat that could go against me. So I'm guessing this is temporary, hopefully. Yes?
Yep, that's the plan, at least.
Well, until then, you have my arrow. And the one in my... yeah.
In your codpiece.
Right.
Seems more like a crossbow bolt or a dart if you get my meaning.
In this body, yeah.
Yeah. Brom reaches into his equipment and pulls out his extra bow and some arrows just to make it clear what kind of arrows he would like Bryce to be shooting if he must.
So I thank Brom with a nod, and I take the bow and I acknowledge it. Urian wood. Yes, very tight. Perfect. 60 pounds. Good. This will be okay. It's not the best, but I can make it work.
How kind, Your Highness. Shall we, perhaps retire?
Is this a longbow or a short bow?
It's a longbow.
It's
a longbow? Okay.
Yep. So just to be clear, Brom, you handed Bryce Smolder your special longbow?
No. I thought I had exchanged that one for a normal one.
You do have a second bow, yeah.
Yes,
So
it's
you
the
have
second bow.
A normal bow.
Nothing will touch my bogus other than myself.
No
I'm very possessive of it.
problems.
Well, thank you, Lady Brom. And if I do not see you in the morning and you will have someone else in this wretched body, I bid you farewell. And if you ever need me, I am the Prince of Agramon.
It is an honor to serve such a lofty liege as yourself. Brom bows low.
And I look over at Ser Doran and Grak. This is awkward again. I'm not used to men not on their knees. Wait, that sounded wrong.
You think this is awkward? Just wait till I start taking off my armor. Doran starts pulling off his plate. Get ready for bed.
Brom, without any...
What color is the plate right now?
Yes. Do tell
Right
us.
now? It's some combination of purple, green, and brown. It is
because it's a magical plate that doesn't blend in. Is it just your clothing or like surroundings too?
It just will not match anything that I wanted to. So, and it has this very particular set of colors, generally a green, a brown, purple, and it's clashing horribly with my beautiful tabard of Lathander. And but I seem to not. Doran seems to not mind it too much because I mean it is a stunning piece of armor compared to what he was wearing before. But
yes, as I get up to presumably relieve myself in the woods, I pick a flower, sneak up behind Ser Doran, and put a bright purple flower right in the back of his tabard, so the armor will, in fact, hopefully match that and clash even worse.
I'm pretty sure at some point you guys have seen Ser Doran pull out like 4 different tabards and try them all on, and every single time it changes the color scheme to what he doesn't want.
Yeah.
He may have thrown a hissy fit, he may have not. Who knows, but okay. I guess with Grak dozing off early, we will go take an early rest for the night. How does that sound for you guys?
Yes,
Yeah.
and considering there's only one tent, the only solution clearly is that His Highness must take it.
Take what?
The single tent.
Oh, yes, that.
I'm awake.
You guys see Grak slowly dozing off. I'm awake.
He was resting his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Are we sleeping?
Yeah,
Yes.
you
Well,
are.
I've never went into a tent by myself before. I obviously am a man of at least 12 women, but this will do, and I will go to sleep lonely. Farewell, you adventurers. If I do not see you in the morning, don't call.
We'll
So-
assume you died.
I'm gonna lean over. I'm gonna lean over to Ser Doran again and say, "Hey, that was my tent. Why'd he get it?"
That's what happens. You snooze, you lose, Grak.
Yeah,
Shouldn't have been resting your eyes.
kid has a cold. Gotta keep
It's
him
not
alive.
snoozing. It's dozing. There's a difference between the two.
If I was you, I would wait for him to fall asleep and just snuggle in right next to him, keep him warm.
I mean, he probably would appreciate that.
With dwarven fortitude, it shouldn't be a problem. I guess
Fair
Doran will
point, fair
take first
point.
watch.
Okay. Is there anything else you guys want to discuss before you go to sleep?
I'm passing out.
Well, Grak's gonna look over at Ser Doran. He's gonna look over at Ser Doran and say, "Tell me, you look more like the bookish sort than the sort who goes out and fights. I mean, you've got the armor and the fancy mace and the spells and whatnot, but I mean, tell me, have you ever been in the sun a day in your life? You look pale as a dwarf, and I say that as a dwarf."
Doran nods along to him. He's like, "Yes, something like that." As you know, I haven't been an extreme fan of this mission, but we both have to do what we have to do to get through this. But I would definitely prefer to be back home for sure.
And remind me, Ser Doran, how did you get sent on this mission? I know we've been traveling together, but it seems like it's all just wolves and giants and attacking thugs. We've hardly had a moment to get to know each other.
Doran clears his throat and he starts digging around for that skin that he gave to Mr. Smolder, and just starts getting a little trouble, and we wind up in the middle of this, and he just starts slamming it down. Yeah, I don't know. What about you guys?
I see. Copious and eloquent backstory, Ser Doran.
I thought your priests were supposed to be good at talking.
We're good at having sermons and collecting money from people. We're not so good at telling people our life stories. Let's just say I did some things that I wasn't necessarily proud of. That got me here.
Grak's gonna pull out a gold piece. Here you go. Now sermonize your backstory for me, lad. Throws it at him.
Brom leans back, crosses his arms, and just looks like this is the best thing that has ever happened in his vicinity.
Let's just say that the church didn't appreciate where some of the donations went. I took a little bit of liberty redistributing some of the wealth, and when they found out what happened, I was voluntold that I was coming on this mission, or they were going to cast me out of the church. So I'm here to see this thing through to the end, but it doesn't mean I'm happy about it. And with that, he kind of he looks a little downcast of having to admit that he did something wrong. But, maybe Doran looks a little relieved that he said something finally about it.
Brom just smiles, reaches forward, pats Ser Doran on the arm, and says, I thought you were boring, but now I like you a whole lot more, and perhaps it's just the rogue in me.
Perhaps. And how about you, Grak? You haven't been too forthcoming about what's brought you here yourself.
Grak is gonna look at Ser Doran and say, It's funny. The clerics they put up a good face, but in the end, they're humans just like the rest of us. They make mistakes just like the rest of us.
I didn't realize you were
Funny
human.
that you should mention your mistake. Yes. Well, I don't know if you've heard of the famous gold yarn goat of the Dwarven Mountains. Well, unfortunately, I was involved in, let's call it an accident, where the prize goat, Barbara Bessie Burpington III, ended up going over a cliff. And, well, let's just say the king of the Dwarven Mountains was not at all happy with someone who's definitely not his bastard son, definitely not another royal in your company or nothing like that. Definitely not. So, unfortunately, I've been sent out. I've been banished from the Dwarven Kingdom, and I've been told I can't come home until I do something as sort of a penance to make up for my misdeeds. And, well, when I heard about this quest, this mission, this thing to defeat the Necromancer, well, I figured what better chance to regain that position in my Dwarven clan than joining in on the mission. And then when I heard of the Hill of Stars, well, that seems like the perfect place for me to go, because it turns out that is where the gold-yarned goats actually live. It's where they grow. Every 100 years, a new one is born. And if fortune smiles on me, that's where I'll find another one to bring home to my father's kingdom. Not my father's, the king of the Dwarven Mountains kingdom, to restore my honor and accomplish my penance.
Brom is quietly snoring.
Yeah, it sounds like you're here unjustly as well. And Doran hands over the flask to Grak.
And thanks. I've been needing some water after the long day we've had. Let me know when you have a proper drink, like dwarven ale or whiskey.
We'll have to make sure we stop by a brewery on the way, or a distillery
Absolutely.
at least.
If I don't think there's any mountain dwarf distilleries around here, but I know the hill dwarves, they make a passable ale. Definitely not the sort of things a man's drink. It's a woman's drink, but when in need, it'll do.
Well, clearly.
And you, Brom?
You see, I'm a simple man of simple needs. I'm here for the money. I was sent as part of the mercenary guild. You know, us rough and tumble sorts. Definitely my backstory. Yes.
Rough and tumble. I don't know if anybody would describe Brom as rough and tumble, but
I haven't seen much rough and tumble from Brom. So far, it's been a lot of run and hide and generally wait around. I mean, you've done a good job of looking after the kid, I'll grant you. But maybe
I was
tomorrow.
Just standing back to let you two who are here for redemption take the spotlight. It's my generous nature.
Well, maybe next time be a lot less generous and a lot more rough. I think that might help us get
be
through
less
this.
generous.
It's very magnanimous of you.
Yes, people do call me magnanimous.
And with that, Grak is going to let out a big yawn and just kind of like doze off, toppling over where he's sitting, because that's how dwarves fall asleep, just kind of wherever and whenever.
Yeah.
Good, we're done with the argle bargle. I'm going to bed.
You hear from the tent.
No, I don't want to make cookies with Grandma.
And I like put my thumb in my mouth.
And Doran will take that as a cue. He'll strap his shoes back on, check the horses, and get ready to take first watch for the night.
Okay, so you guys, you settle down for the night. I'll just assume that you guys do your shifts in whatever order, and they are all productive and excellent in every way. Although Grak probably falls asleep at some point again during his shift. Maybe Brom too. Like everyone sleeps, but Ser Doran. I'm not exactly
Brom
sure.
definitely sleeps.
The details definitely don't matter at this point. At some point, they will though. But you guys all have
sorry. At some point in the night, Grak is definitely going to sneak into the tent and kind of just fall asleep curled up in a corner because the wide open night sky makes him very, very uncomfortable. So he needs some sort of roof over his head. So in the morning, you'll find him kind of tucked off into a corner near Abelard's feet. And when asked, he will insist that he's standing guard over their young charge.
Okay, so you guys wake up in the morning. You were nice and refreshed. Bryce, as you stretch your slightly aching and still cold-filled body, you see Grak Skullcrusher just asleep in the corner of your tent.
Well, I didn't bring my teddy with me. I guess he will do.
And I pick him up and I put him on the bed and I just kind of cuddle him from behind.
Spoon him. Make him a little spoon.
I feel. Do I need to like roll for some sort of instinctive attack when he grabs me? Because
Wait,
that's
if I
that's
whisper,
how a berserker would do.
if I whisper in his ear, this doesn't leave the tent. Does he have to roll at disadvantage?
yes, for sure.
You know what, Grak? Make an insight check to see how much you instinctually enjoy this or not. So he got oh my god, he rolled a nat 20. So you, as you are being carried to your new bed space, put down and spooned, immediately something feels wrong. Something that should never happen to a fully grown dwarf past the age of 2 years old.
Nat
And you
20.
pop awake and you see a look of compassion in the eyes of Bryce Smolder as he's slightly upset that he doesn't have a cuddle buddy for the remainder of the morning before the sun fully rises.
Just thought you might want a bed, buddy.
Sorry, lad. This is not that kind of dwarven human relation.
Well, I'm too good for you anyway.
And I walk off to my bed and I just put my thumb back in my mouth and lay down, shivering with my cold.
I enter the tent with a cup of warm tea for His Highness.
Okay, and you see Grak kind of standing over him, looking a little bit shaken. You're not sure exactly what's taking place, but
I
Bryce
assume
looks
they have
content.
had hot and steamy sex all night.
Oh my god,
dang.
sweet.
Grak is definitely thinking about picking up his maul, and it's like, no, we need him alive to get to the Hill of Stars. We need him alive to get to the Hill of Stars.
Doran just starts yelling from the outside at the fire. If you want breakfast, you better get out here. The pancakes are getting cold, and stirs the fire. He's got some semblance of coffee
All right,
going.
so Grak is going to go outside, and as he's walking, you can kind of hear his knee joints start to creak. And it's like, oh, my poor ginglimoids aren't working well this morning. The cold always messes with them.
You're gingly what? Is that something they teach you in fancy school?
It's dwarven for your knee joints. Don't they teach you things like that? Don't you teach you basic anatomy at cleric school? Or how do they teach you to hate enemy? Grak is not a morning person, it turns out.
They didn't really teach me anything. That's why you have what you have here. Doran just summons some fire in his hand and throws it into the fire. He goes, when you have the blessing of Lathander, you don't need to worry about that kind of stuff.
Brom escorts a still bleary and sniffly Prince Smolder out of the tent and wraps a blanket cozily around his shoulders when he reaches the fire.
Oh, thank you, good sir. At least one of you respects my royalty.
Yes.
Teddy.
It has been established that I am, and Brom makes eye contact with Grax and Ser Doran, magnanimous.
Extremely.
What's in this tea? It's really good. I thought this was only a woman's drink.
This is very loud.
I would like you to role play 5 minutes of slurping your tea, please.
There you go.
Okay, so you guys
ASMR.
with your stove breakfast in your bellies, some hot tea as well to heat you up. You pack up your campsite and you guys are getting ready to leave. And that's as you guys are pretty much packed up, that's when you guys start to realize something's not right. Now, Bryce, this is something that you usually detect first, but being that you're not in your usual body and your hearing is not as good, and this cold is just stuffing up all of your senses. You guys kind of look up at one as a group, and you realize that there's a bunch of wolves that are starting to sneak up on you guys. And you realize you guys are completely surrounded, and the wolves start to snarl loudly.
I'm
Look, wolves.
Don't worry, everybody. I've got this. I've got this.
and I walk out in front. Do I move my character?
Sure.
If you want, yep.
I'm gonna move him right here.
I, by the power of God Harlem, bring myself a steak dinner for the wolves.
And I'm gonna try my Deadman's Pool. Is that how this works?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
just
go
click
to
it?
your. Yep. Go to your. You're not gonna click the Dead Man's Pull itself. You're gonna click Persuasion.
All right.
Whatever. So to basically explain the Dead Man's Pool, if it hasn't been explained clearly in the past, the Dead Man's Pool is sort of a weird, unique, innate ability that whoever is in Abelard's body has. He just knows it's there. It pops up in times of need, and he's basically pulling on all of the power and knowledge and stuff of the souls inside of him, and he's trying to pull out something that he wants to basically appear out of the power of the souls inside of him in some fashion. So let's see.
Ready?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
17.
Yep. 16 plus 1. So you.
Would it be bad if I actually got my teddy bear instead of the steak?
Depends. What's the teddy bear made out of?
Does it have to be steak? I said
steak.
steak, so it's got to be steak, right?
No, okay. So basically, Bryce Smolder, with a confident step forward, used to the people following his lead and his battle prowess, with this ability he just now knows that he truly has. He steps forward and he says, "Watch me, witness me," and he pulls out a steak dinner, but it's really his teddy bear. And a look of surprise comes onto Bryce's face. And also, with that sort of pull, he doesn't feel very good. Something about him feels a little bit sick, a little bit nauseous, a little bit off-putting. So how do you react to pulling out this teddy bear instead of what you were going for, Bryce?
Teddy! And I stick it in my shirt.
So Bryce, he sticks the teddy bear into his shirt. We're not sure if it's to hide it or for comfort, but at that point, you guys see Bryce kind of hunched over in pain, holding his stomach. He hasn't been sick like this thus far into this trip, but you guys just see him hurl. But instead of like vomit that's coming out, and a little bit does, he more like explodes. And the way he explodes is souls just kind of explode out of his body. This is something which you guys have never really seen. And it sends you guys flying through the air. In fact, everyone who's anywhere near him, send yourselves 10 feet back from the direction that he is standing. You guys are flung through the air. On top of that, all of the wolves are also hit by this explosion of souls, and they all fall to the ground unconscious, completely out of it. And as you guys start to pick yourselves up, the Bryce Smolder, who's in the body of Abelard, is standing there confused and scared, but currently unharmed. But the rest of you guys, looking at the ground around Abelard, it's like a mini, 3-inch crater has clearly impacted and exploded out, and you guys are bruised and battered from being thrown, from the debris which shot out from the area of impact around Abelard. But also, you felt a sort of damaged, weird source that you really haven't felt since battling the Necromancer in that big battle. Whatever part you played in that role, you feel the sickening energy. It just kind of drains you. Grak, you're going to take 10 points of damage. Brom, you're going to take 6 points of damage, and Ser Doran, you're going to take 7 points of damage between the bumps and the bruises and just this energy. It just overtakes you, makes you sick. It seems like he's not as stable as you were hoping for, and you were all just kind of pushed out and exploded. Abelard, you feel better. It just feels like you kind of let out a little bit of morning hangover, and you feel great now, and you look around, and this is what you guys all see. How do you react to it?
All right, are we going to go in order?
Well, Grak is gonna, because he was standing. Grak was standing by the fire, like across the fire from him, so his beard is all a little bit singed. He's gonna pat himself out and say, "What the bloody is in that bear?"
So right now,
gets to his feet and looks weirdly delighted.
All right, and Doran, he will, get up to his feet, dusting off the debris from him, and just looks around to see all these wolves all over the place, and checks on Grak to see where he's at.
Yep, and the wolves right now are completely unmoving, completely unconscious, still breathing, but just whatever threat they posed is no longer there.
Does anyone have a mint?
What flavor mint were you looking for specifically, Price? Because I'm sure where you come from, it's a very catered smorgasbord. It's like the guy in the outhouses who has a bunch of different flavored mints and napkins and pipe weed. Which flavor mint were you looking for?
Whatever it takes to get out this taste of cadaver out of my mouth.
Brom rushes forward, casting Minor Illusion cantrip, and hands a handful of all the most beautiful mints that Prince Mulder could ever want.
So, Prince Mulder, you grab the I'm trying to think of the store name with the local village tavern variety pack of everything, and it's in your hands, and when you go to pick one, the image, it just kind of stays in place. You've clearly been tricked.
That's a fancy parlor trick.
What's the double mint one?
Oh, I was certain she had picked up rocks and was handing it to him like that.
You just said mints, not tangible mints.
You three are going to be the death of me.
Specific in your orders.
Well, if you're hungry, we've got wolf.
Okay, so as you guys actually look at the wolves...
Before...
Uh-oh.
What do you say, Grax?
I was going to say, before we go on about our business as if nothing happened, does anybody know what the hell just happened? What the that was? That's like nothing I've ever seen after a good dwarven drinking night. Plenty of farts and belches all around, plenty of vomiting too, but never once, well, maybe once, but that was when the shamans got involved. But never once did non-magical beings. well, that was another night completely, but like no belcher fart I ever saw. So what the hell was that?
Yeah, I think that's just more evidence we need to get him to the hill and get out of here.
Brom comes over to Abelard real close and said, "How did that feel? How would you describe it?"
Who did you go over to?
So
Geo
Brom comes
Grace.
over to
Oh, Abelard. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Dual identities.
Have you ever had like sweet potatoes, right? And you just eat them whole. That's my favorite way to do it. Imagine 50 million of them shooting out of your mouth and like 2 of them shooting out of your asshole. Speaking of which, does anyone have a change of pants? I'll even take a thong. In fact, I prefer it. Camo if you have it.
Doran just disgustedly start casting prestidigitation on Abelard to clean up the mess.
I like fart and a little like ghosty wisp comes out from behind me. Like I farted out a soul, right?
Why did Stevie have to be on the episode with farting and pooping?
And I'm on cough syrup too, so
Yeah. I thought every episode was going to be based exclusively on farting and pooping. You guys never told me that I couldn't do that, so I'm just putting it out there. That's where I was
thought
going
you
with
did
this.
it for me. Like I was like, these guys are nice.
They know what he likes.
The jokes of a 6-year-old, my favorite.
Well, Brom actually
Grak's gonna
wandered
look-
over to one of the wolves. and
Grak's gonna look.
pokes it.
You're gonna poke a wolf?
Yes, I'm going to poke a wolf because clearly whatever happened exploded out of young Prince Charming here and did something to us and did something to the wolves. But I am Brom is looking around, kind of trying to piece 2 and 2 together. Not necessarily well, just trying.
Okay, you know what, Brom? Make a nature check, and while Brom is doing that, do any of you other 3 want to do anything real quick?
I'm going. Ser Doran's gonna head over to Abelard, do a cursory check.
So that would be a nat 1.
Nice, that's solid. And Doran is going to like hold open his eyelids, see if he can see anything, while he's prestidigating all the bodily fluids away. And,
On Bryce, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
basically, just try to do a medicine check on him and see how he's doing.
Sounds good. Take a medicine roll for me, Grak. Is there anything special which you want to do?
Ooh,
Well,
that's a
Grak
3.
is
I
gonna
got
be.
a
He's
9.
gonna ask the 2.
Go ahead, Grak.
Grak's gonna ask. So neither of you 2 know what just happened. Mr. Cleric Man with all your books, no knowledge of that?
Yeah, I'm not very versed in the arcane. I'm sorry.
And you, Miss Rogue, no encounters of the magical sort in your past that might have informed whatever that was?
Considering I rolled a 1, what misinformation do I strongly believe?
Yeah,
About the wolves or
something
about
terrible.
the exploding Bryce?
Any and all.
We'll get to the wolves in a second. You can give your opinion on Bryce, whatever you think.
Well, clearly, this is a supernatural cold. And we should all probably wear protection so that we don't catch it.
Ah, yes, COVID-1.
COVID-I.
COVID BC.
Wraps a bandana around his head.
VIX, yeah.
Once the
So
episode's
maybe
done.
maybe our best chance here, yeah, our best move here would be to get to a town that has a healer or a magician type person of some sort and find out just what that was. Because if that's going to happen again, that's going to be a problem. Especially when he's trying to cuddle me at night. I'm not going for that.
Yes, we should probably also buy some leeches.
What? What'd you say? You said leeks, right? Not leeches. Because I'll have a leek.
Nope, definitely leeches.
I think you've leaked enough.
Oh. Leeches. Is there any way I can try to escape? No, I'm not going to do that.
So, as you were considering this and you're looking around, there are a lot of wolves unconscious. You guys see Brom, who's poking and prodding the wolves, trying to figure out what the hell happened to him. And just basically, Brom's poking around, and then all of a sudden, you just hear like, "Oh, whoa, oh my God, who stuck that there? Who are, what?" And you guys see all of the wolves start standing up. And it's just like, "Oh, what's going on, boys? Yeah, oh, hey, Daniel, Bobby, James, Gronk, hey, Sarley, what's going on?"
You sound like Pickle Rick.
Brom screeches like a little girl.
Sounds like
As
Brom.
These wolves come alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you guys now are, you see that the wolves are waking up, and the wolves are actually talking in common that you could all understand.
This is most unnatural.
You're telling me what what's going on here? Who took advantage of me in the back when I was sleeping?
Oh gosh, Ser Doran is flabbergasted, upset. He doesn't understand how this could be happening to him. That this is like the worst case scenario. That he assumes that spirits have just inhabited these wolves, and now there's like a dozen of them just scattered throughout the forest here, and is very upset at what the possible repercussions of this could be. And then this looks at Grak and is like,
Do we
what
recognize
do we
their
do now?
voices?
Yeah, do I know anyone?
I'll say you guys really don't know these people per se.
It's like an inful of people.
You could, depending on how well traveled you are, you can know that maybe their accent kind of places them around from the town of Hridheim, which you guys are going to probably be visiting very shortly.
From the north.
From
Probably
the north, yep.
by the Hill of Stars, probably. Okay,
It's on the way there, yep.
that makes sense.
And one of them, they look at the other wolf and they're like, "Yo, Brickety Jimbo, you look like a wolf. What's up with that?" And he's like, "Oh, Brodio, what? You're a wolf too. What's going on here? Who are you chumps?"
Brom
We're just-
raises
we're just
his
friendly-
hand.
What'd you do to us, elf?
Well, actually, Brom says, we are dealing with the same thing. With that young lad over there, you see a sorcerer cast a curse on all of you, and we're on a mission to find him and reverse it. And is going to try to persuade them.
Okay, as part of that conversation, they're just like, wait. So you guys cast a curse on us?
No. Sorcerer. Big, tall, elven-looking dude.
Oh, the big blue giant-y dude, right?
Yes.
Oh my God! So that I kind of remember. Like, so check it out. We're hanging out in the boys' club of Hridheim, and they got this special show. It was this like fighting match, 2 celebrities, Rick Bear and Macho Man, and they're beating up on these 2 chumps, and then all of a sudden, like the wall, it just gets kicked in, and what happened after that? Katie Adams. And the wolf who goes by Katie Adams is just like, I don't know, this big like hole. It just came in, and this big blue giant elfy dude. He was like, "Patow, patow, pew, pew, pew," and we woke up here, and we don't know who won
Just like
the match.
the sorcerer we're hunting.
Cool. So where do we find him?
We were going that direction, and you guys probably are faster running, so you could run ahead.
Oh,
What do you say, boys? We gonna let this stand? And they were all like, no.
Meanwhile, Brom is backing away slowly.
Make your persuasion roll for me real quick. What'd you roll?
Rolled a 15.
15. So I'll say the wolves in the upper left, they're just like, you know what, Pointy? I like you. So we're tight. We are kind of hungry, and we are wolves, so I think we're gonna eat your friends, though. So,
You know what? Not the kid. He's very bony. Don't think he'd go down well, but that dwarf sure looks tasty.
And I just shit myself. You don't want none of that. Pretty sure you all came out of me too, so it makes me your mother.
Again, or the first time still?
If I need to milk you, I will, but it's gonna get weird real quick. Because I don't make, well, just that one time.
So with that, they're just like, sounds like a plan. Let's
Wait, I'm milking them?
Dwarf. That's up to you. So
No,
at this
I don't
point,
want to.
you are committed to a 10-minute roleplay scene of milking them at some point. I'll get into that.
It sounds a lot like me drinking tea.
So here's what's gonna happen. We pre-rolled initiative for the sake of expediency in the show. So Ser Doran, he had a 17. He's gonna go first. As these wolves are kind of looking you guys, they're looking at you with a little hungry glint in their eye. They're definitely looking at the dwarf first. They're confused about the others, especially one who pooped himself. What do you want to do?
All right, so Doran looks into the fire, briefly thinking about just throwing himself in the flames to be out of this terrible situation. And then he mumbles a prayer to Lathander, begging for strength, steps in front of Abelard, despite the disgusting smell coming from him, and launches a sacred flame at one of the wolves to try to scare them off, and just gets his mace and shield out, ready to go. So,
okay, just roll your sacred flame.
So, let's see here.
So they got to make a dexterity saving throw, right?
Correct. Otherwise, they'll be blasted for 7 radiant damage.
Okay, and I'm going to actually go ahead and explain this for people who are not D&D fans, which it seems like a lot of the people who are currently watching this are. Dexterity saving throw, it basically means something scary is coming at you, and you got to use your dexterous and agile ways to get out of the way, or something bad happens. And this is based on numbers and dice and all of that stuff, but they are going to roll this real quick, and they very nimbly hop out of the way so they don't take any damage, right?
Half damage, I think.
Okay, so the wolf, he kind of hops out of the way, and he's like, whoa, what the hell, buddy? Okay, well, I wasn't gonna eat you first because like your armor and your clothes clash, and that probably means that you gotta that you don't got a lot of good taste with food, but I'm gonna eat you first. And he takes a little bit of damage, but it's not what you were hoping for.
All right.
And that brings us to Brom, who had a 13. What you want to do, Brom?
Brom is cool with the wolves right next to him. So he's going to actually, in entirely Brom fashion, say, you know what? Clearly we have no issue. So I'm going to step back here into the woods and chill. And Brom is going to tiptoe behind a tree and use his cunning action
Okay.
to hide.
Okay. So make a stealth check for me. Is there anything else that you want to do with your main action?
I would like to hold my main action to roll in at one.
You feel that you are excessively hidden, as per
and
your
I
usual.
prepare myself for the sneak attack of the century, completely convinced that no wolfy eyes are upon me.
Okay. Are you going to attack someone if they attack Grax?
I am going to attack someone if they attack Abelard.
Okay. No problem. You are... so you guys see Brom say this, and Brom nimbly steps behind a bush and takes cover, but you guys see that like the middle of the bush is hollowed out. So Brom's kind of sticking out, but okay. Next up is Grak, who rolled an 11 for initiative. Grak, all the wolves on the
Grak
right.
is gonna.
Sorry, all the wolves on the right are definitely eyeing you, and you know where they're coming.
Yeah, Grak gonna shout, "Brom, you bastard! When I get my hands on you, it's gonna take more than 5 gold in the party to get me off of you. We're gonna talk about this betrayal, you bastard!" And then he's gonna advance towards the southernmost wolf, so that he's sort of positioning himself facing towards the east. So when they try to come and attack him, they're not gonna get a flanking attack on him because he's semi-tactical like that. And then he rage and kicks some ass.
Okay, so you're gonna rage, right?
See, all right, we roll.
Oh my god! So we're starting strong.
Yeah.
So you rolled a 19 with your bonuses, comes to a 25. So this is what basically you guys see happen. Grax approaches this wolf, keeping a weary eye for all of the other ones that are facing him. Grax's mace comes smashing down. As this wolf leaps at him, it not only hits him in the head, but this mouth opens up. And Bryce, you've never seen anything like this. The mace head opens up to this big row of teeth and basically crushes the skull in the teeth and just slurps up a little bit of blood, and then it goes back to being a normal mace, and that wolf is already out of the equation.
Now I have the weapon, the greater weapons master thing. Does that mean I can like take a step towards the next wolf in line and attack it again?
You still have movement, so yeah, you could do that. Yep. So you take a step forward and make another attack roll for the next one.
So yeah, Grak's gonna move forward and take out the next one. And this is all feeling very cathartic for him as he's unleashing all of his anger against Brom onto the wolf. So hopefully by the time he actually gets around to talking to Brom, Brom will get out of this alive.
And Brom, you don't know how, but like in the middle of this murder, Grax looks directly at you and just points and is like, okay, that is a 13 plus your stats, 19. That hits. This one hits. It clonks the wolf in the head, but it's not as much damage as you were hoping for. It's still standing.
Holding his bow at attention, Brom just shrugs.
Yeah. Okay, and that brings us to Abelard, who's currently possessed by Bryce Smolder. You see all this stuff going on. What do you want to do?
Well, I'm going to create a fog cloud, a different one than last time. Not out of my butt.
Okay, where do you want to create it?
20-foot radius?
Yeah,
I would
so where's
say
your centering point?
around me.
Okay, so you guys see all of a sudden this big cloud of fog just appears. Let's say for all intents and purposes, even though you pretty much can't see it, everyone in the fog of cloud could barely see, if at all. It's very difficult to see through. It's a unnatural thick fog. Brom, if you want to see if you can still see.
I was actually going to say Brom kind of assumes that any wolf that tries to go into that fog is going for Abelard, so readies himself to shoot any wolf that tries to go in there.
No problem. I could accept that. Anything else for you, Smolder?
What else could I do?
That's you could put a hunter's mark on one of the wolves that will give you extra damage if you attack them.
I'll do that, and I'll do it on. Well, I can't really select it. The one right out in front of me.
This one right here.
Yes, that's it.
No problem. I'll put this small red mark, which means he's marked by the hunter. And that brings us to our wolves. So there are going to be a lot of rolls here. I have something that's going to help me do this so we don't sit here and boredom for 1,000 hours. But Brom, make your attack of opportunity on this wolf here that definitely looks like it's going for Abelard.
All right, I'm going to use my focus.
Yep.
And it's going to bite it as well.
Okay. For it to bite, it's got to be up close. It's sort of a melee thing, but with that one strike, I will say that wolf, it's like still alive, but it's barely moving. You caught it in the hindquarters. It's no longer moving. It's on death's door. It looks terrible. So it is pretty much out of the fight at this point, unless it continues on. For the rest,
says, sorry, dude.
For the rest of the wolves, I'll start with the Grak part because this is going to be crazy. This one's going to use all its movement to run in. It won't be able to attack them. This one is going to, in fact, what are their movement? Oh no, they have plenty of movement. So basically, Grak, you were going to get totally surrounded by these wolves, and unfortunately, as they're attacking you, they're just like, "Oh man, this feels natural. It just feels like us stomping out people back in the boys' club if they didn't pay their dues, man. Let's get this punk and then let's eat them." And they start to attack you with a ferocity that you really weren't ready for. It seems that with them working as a pact, it gives them a huge advantage that you weren't quite ready for, and you weren't quite ready for their speed. So what's your armor class, Grak, to kind of speed this up?
17.
17. So the first one is going to be a crit. For a total of 12 damage. The second one misses. The third one hits for 8. I'm doing this math, so you don't have to worry about it. Fourth one hits, and fifth one misses. So you're going to take 28 points of damage, which is going to be halved to 14 because you're raging. As these wolves just start nipping and biting at you, and if you were made of less sturdier stuff, basically anything but your tough dwarven raging self, it could have ripped someone up to shreds. For the rest of these things are going to actually be at disadvantage for hitting them. And let's see, I'm just going to move this fog cloud for now. So Ser Doran, these are going after you. These three, this one will go for Abelard. The three going after Ser Doran. What's your armor class? It's
21.
21, goddamn. So the first one, 13 miss. With the disadvantage of the fog cloud, they're all going to miss. And they're Abelard's. What's Abelard's just wearing like robes now, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this sucks for you guys. One of them is going to bite him, and that one's going to do 6 damage to you, Abelard. So mark.
Wait, well, I thought I was. The fog doesn't do anything. They can't roll a disadvantage because
they are rolling at disadvantage.
Oh, they already did, so he got me.
Yeah, and that's why Ser Doran's pretty much untouched, and one just got lucky. So, and you got lucky too, because both of those would have hit if it wasn't for the fog. So you take 6 damage. Ser Doran's up.
Ser Doran is not pleased about this turn of events and looks over at Grak to see he's bitten off more than he can chew. But Ser Doran will first summon a spiritual weapon, causing a mace to appear out of the ground to help attack the wolf that is on Abelard. And then Doran will also strike the same wolf, the injured wolf that's right next to him, with his own mace that he has out.
Okay. Make your 2 attack rolls.
So that's what we'll be doing.
And while you were doing that, we'll move on to Brom. What you want to do, Brom?
Brom moves in just a little And Brom can sneak attack as long as there is another ally within 5 feet of the target. And look, Grak is surrounded on all sides. So Brom is going to, with a jaunty smile, shoot one of the wolves attacking Grak.
Okay. You could roll that. While that was happening, Ser Doran smashed one of the wolves with his actual base. I believe the one...
the injured one that was in front of me. In front of Doran.
Okay, and that one disappears, and your spiritual weapon... In the fog, it's tough, man. It just takes a big whiff and misses, unfortunately. If that's a reflection on the fog or on your piety, that's up for you to decide later in prayer.
A little worried about that.
Dragon Girl. I'm going to say make one more roll with that because there's so many of them. I'm going to give you advantage on the roll. And while that is happening, Grak's on deck. I'll actually see what this...
Not much better.
Yeah, trying to be careful of Grak and not hit him with the pass through. You shoot a little bit high, and unfortunately, it just misses him. Anything with your bonus action or?
With my bonus action, I would like to. No, not at the moment.
Okay, that brings us to Grak.
All right, Grak is going to frenzy, rage, and reckless attack.
That's it.
Okay.
Everything.
So first attack.
Still
a crit.
So with a crit, just obliterating a wolf.
Mm-hmm. So let me just look up something real quick. So great. Okay, you can make one melee attack as a bonus action. Okay. So to kind of whichever creature you were striking, it is obliterated. Again, like you guys see this base head just open up and just chomp down at a wolf that was nipping at him right at the back of the deck. It just takes a chunk out, just falls to the ground bleeding. You make another attack, that's going to be another hit. Another creature is just demolished. And since you're on a rampage like this, I'm going to let you make one more free attack. As your mullet just kind of goes into a frenzy on its own. And that one will also be a hit. 9 plus your bonuses is 15. It does enough damage. And so with just a swing, and then an unconscious swing, as this mole is just feeding, and you guys have never really seen anything. It's crazy. Well, you three have. Smolder hasn't. Grak has just gone on a rampage. He's just covered in blood. Forgetting about Brom temporarily as he just goes into a psychotic frenzy, murdering things all around him. And that brings up to Abelard. What you want to do, Abelard / Smolder?
Sorry, question. So my action is that I get another action every time I kill something, right?
With your ability every time. It's kind of weird. With your frenzy power, you could use a bonus action for an extra attack. But also, even if you're not, with your Great Master ability, every time you strike somebody and kill them, you could also use your bonus action to make an attack. But you only have one bonus action. So unfortunately, you can't chain combo forever. Yeah, so basically you got one attack.
I would keep hitting and killing.
No, because you would kill everything. That brings us to Abelard. The fog cloud's still over you guys. It's a little bit difficult to see. Ser Doran's facing off two of the wolves. There's a wolf that's near you, which just bit you, and there's a big spiritual weapon around you. It's kind of tough to see outside of the cloud, but it's still possible. What do you want to do?
What would a huge firecracker do? Do you think that would scare them away?
There's only one way to find out.
I am going to do that. I'm going to use Dead Men's Pull. So,
by all that is mighty, I reach out to you, the god of Halam, and bring forth the loudest firecracker possible.
I would like you to make another persuasion check, please.
All right.
Okay, you rolled an 11 plus 1, 12. So you're looking for the loudest firework possible. You're not that familiar with these powers, but you do pull out a very wide firecracker of some sort. Not exactly sure what it does. It's not a brand that you're familiar with. It says brand off the Bray Wizarding firecrackers. And I'll let you what do you want to do with it?
So would that be my bonus action throwing it into the fire? Because I don't have a lighter.
If you're gonna throw it into the campfire, that's easily a bonus action. Yep.
All right.
I toss it into the fire.
Okay. You throw it into the fire, and we'll see what happens with that shortly. The wolves go. Again, massive amounts of rolls. So the two wolves around Grak are looking pretty panicked, but they're just going on these baser instincts, and they're like, "Oh, see what he did to Brickety Jimbo and Hobster and Snorkel." He's like, "No, Snorkel, this is terrible." But we're still hungry, so they're gonna make 2 attacks at you. They have an advantage because they're still together with their pack tactics. 18 and 18. What's your AC? It is
17.
17. Both of those are going to hit. 8 damage and 5 damage. So 4 and 2, 6. After your reduction, 6 more damage. It's not hurting you that much, but with the explosion earlier, starting to take its toll. This one, he's injured. He's slinking into the woods. This one's going to take a swipe at Abelard. He's still disadvantaged. He's going to miss. The 2 attacking Ser Doran, who has a high armor class, are going to miss because of the fog cloud. And then all of a sudden, with that, this pop happens. You guys hear pop, 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 pop. Pew, 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 pew. And you guys hear everyone turns. The fog it's dissipated out of nowhere, and out of the fire comes this roaring inferno of color. It looks like the world's most gigantic demon is being summoned. It's loud. It's chaotic. It's crazy. It kind of looks like a proper intro if Nacho Man and Rick Bear were still here. And all of the wolves kind of look at each other and they're like, oh, guys, that's got to be the sign that the show's still on. Let's get back to the boys' club. And they're like, yeah, man, this sucks. We'll catch some food on the way. And they all start to run in the woods, direction which you pointed to where Reddit is before. You guys can get an attack of opportunity if you want, but the wolves are currently in full fleeing retreat.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so if you wish to attack them as they leave, you can make an attack. If not, then don't make one.
Is there a chance they come back if you hit them? Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
They seem pretty
there are-
terrified. Grak's gonna let his go. He's killed enough wolves for one day.
Yeah. Doran's going to make his way over to Grak and tend his wounds. Looking him over, checking out all the wolf bites, the miscellaneous wounds he's taken.
Brom is scanning the trees, making sure none of them sneak back around, bow at the ready.
Okay, so nobody's making an attack, correct?
Nope.
So with that, the
Grak
Like throws a bottle
is
at him.
gonna try to sneak up on Brom.
okay, Grak make a stealth check, and Brom make a perception check.
That's solid stealth of 18 for Grak.
I gotta roll that again.
That's fine. So
No, I gotta roll that again because I rolled at an advantage. So
No, I'll just
You're
take
fine.
the first roll. It's no problem. It's the default for stuff like this. So Grak, with clarity of mind, fueled by the rage in your heart, you decide to start sneaking around the tent. Brom, you are clocking this a mile away, knowing that that Grak is going to probably beat the piss out of you as he goes behind the tent and you lose sight of him. What do you want to do?
Brom is going to sneak around in the opposite direction so that they go round and round the tent.
Okay, so I'll
Real
say
Three Stooges style.
I'll say with the speed and dexterity of Brom and being aware of
Brom
what
would
is.
like to hurry fast enough to be able to like tap Grak on the shoulder and then dance back.
Oh god. Okay, so we will stop right
you
there.
gotta do like a couple of
Couple of rotations.
You got to do a
first.
couple of rounds around the tent where, like in the Charlie Chaplin thing, I'm like the cop who's like stomping
Exactly.
after the tramp, and Brom's like the
Brom
Charlie
is, like,
Chaplin.
Towing.
So we'll stop it there before this becomes a whole full episode of Grak chasing Brom and the terrible things which happen. So you guys you learned that everything inside of Rice Smolder, aka Abelard's digestive tract of souls, is not quite as pleasant as you were hoping for. You now set, I believe, 6 wolves who have souls inside of them and could talk back to the town of Written that you were currently heading towards. And you guys know that you are on that town to hopefully find a guide for you to help guide you guys as you get closer to your destination. So we will end there for tonight.
To help us figure out how to heal whatever's wrong, because Brom has given us terrible misinformation that he is unfortunately ill with the supernatural cold, so we need to figure that out and figure out someone for the spirit side. So we need 2 people now.
Also, I gotta say, very stingy on the healing there, Ser Doran.
I tried to heal them, and they decided to play Ring Around the Rosie on me.
No, I'm saying last night, this poor kid is dying of the freaking flu, and you're like, in the morning, I'll take a look at you.
I don't heal hangovers, so if you have it, you deserve it.
Okay. So, I want to thank you all. Yeah. I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank the people who were actually playing with us. I'm going to give a few shout outs to our new permanent player taking over the role of Brom, Allegra Pescatore. She is an author. So if you want to check out her book, Where Shadows Lie, check it out in Amazon, and it is currently on sale. Also, the host of this and of the Fantasy Fiends podcast, Andy Pelequin. I'm going to pronounce that wrong, but he has many books. I believe I've read them all. I recommend personally starting with Darkblade Assassin, but if you're more a fan of space operas, check out Assassination Protocol, Cerberus Book 1. Our guest for today, Stevie Collier. Check out Middle Fury. That is also on Amazon, a book of his. Me and Tony are not authors. We're just awesome people in our own right. If you guys have any suggestions, if you have fan art, if you have questions, if you have anything to send us at all, please send it to the... Which word?
Funny words.
Just more goofy words for us. In case you guys didn't know, throughout the episode, we were sprinkling in random words, which people suggested before the show. So if you've got funny words that you want us to work in, just drop it in the comments. Post it to the Fantasy Fiends podcast on Facebook. Mm-hmm. We're going to try to do things to make it way more wacky and weird than your average D&D podcast. So come back next week for a whole lot more fun.
Yep, and if you want to suggest any critical roles or critical failures of outrageous proportions too, drop them to the Fantasy Fiends podcast on Facebook as well. And with that, I'll leave it to Andy to wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out for another excellent, weird, and unpredictable episode of Deranged and Questing, the Necromancer's Idiot Apprentice. Thank you, Stevie. I'll see you on Thursday for the regular episode of the Fantasy Fiends podcast.
If I'm alive.
Thank you for showing up sick. Now, if he's not, I'm going to take over in his role. And
Greg, real quick, I got to say, Greg, you should be a writer, for real. That was awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm terrible with words, but
the way you did the fireworks, though, I was like, damn it, that's a really good idea.
You created this, not me.
That was all you.
It's all me. It's always me.
It could have been better or something more complicated. He's like, I bring up a book of mathematical formulas and start reading them. What do I read, TM? Like, oh, crap.
Newtonian fluids go.
So much.
That's
numbers.
awesome. Well, we are out for tonight. See you all next week, next Monday at 6 o'clock Pacific time for another episode of Deranged and Questing. Good night.
Thank you all for watching.